So a quick explanation on what XG is. XG, or expected goals, is a measure of shot quality. So what? Well, shot quality is important because it is the biggest indicator of goals, with 0 XG being guaranteed miss and 1 XG meaning guaranteed goal. It is based on how often shots from that area or similar situations have gone in historically, meaning thousands of games. It's not just location, it's also the type of chance, meaning is it a shot from a kick or a header? Also the type of final ball received, meaning a cross, a through ball, a simple pass, etc. They all have different XG values because they've all gone in at different rates historically. For example, a through ball shot from a 1v0 situation with a keeper from a certain area has higher XG than a crossed in header from the same spot. And depending on the stat provider, they also take the positioning of the defender into consideration, meaning how many defenders are there between the shooter and the goal. Although flawed as a predictive system, since nothing can really predict the future exactly, it has been proven to be the single best predictor of future performances, more than even goals, assists, points, goal difference, etc. For example, if you see a player or a team scoring more than their XG, also called overperforming their XG, you better be damn sure they're coming back down. In statistics, even in the wildest and least predictable cases, you can always be sure of a regression to the mean. And XG is basically the Thanos of football. It is inevitable. For me, I use XG more as a retrospective tool rather than a predictive one. It is extremely accurate when it comes to past performances since the shots have already been recorded. And what I mean by accurate isn't how accurate it was to how many goals the team scored on the day, but how good the performance and chance creation was. For example, with Arsenal, we could dominate possession all we want, shoot as many times as we want, hit the woodwork as many times as we want, or even score 4 or 5 to boot. But if our XG said we should have scored 1, I'll be worried because that scoring rate would have been unsustainable. And vice versa. If we scored only 1 but had an XG of 3 or 4, I'll chalk it up to bad finishing on the day and generally just unlucky on the day. Unless that player doing all that missing happens to be a certain Olivier Giroud, because he has a habit of doing a lot of that. But the point is, I'd rather have a higher than lower XG, in the Premier League at least, where a single game isn't as important as an elimination game in the Champions League. Hashtag never forget. Hashtag justice for Monaco at home 14-15. So what are the weaknesses of XG? Well, there is one. It's an aggregate of goals. It's not accurate to the single shot or even a single game. That's why I use it more as an indication of performance and chance creation rather than just goals, in the single game context at least. So now you know how that works. This is how you read an XG graph. Let's say a team takes 5 shots during a game, and of those 5 shots, 1 had 0.4, meaning out of 10,000 plus cases of however many cases they have of a similar situation and location, it went in 40% of the time. Another had 0.6, another had 0.2, another had 0.8, another had 0.1, and when you add those all up, you have XG for the game. And of course, there are days when you score all 5, but there are also days where you miss all 5. But over a full season, you'll naturally end up regressing to the mean.
Perfectly balanced, as all things should be.